What's that you say? You want more monk action? You got it. Let's review Biblios Dice. Check it out. In this game, you're going to see a lot of familiar things from the Biblios regular game. The setup, the die is all set at 3. All your little player cubes hit here at the bottom. It can play with 5 players. The 5th player is a white color there. First player is going to get this bishop card. Everyone's going to start off with 15 gold. You're also going to get a little player shield that's going to show you everything about the game there. And that's where you're going to be hiding all your coins and your victory points. Now, depending on who's going second, third, fourth, and fifth, you actually get a little bit more extra for going later on in the first turn, and the game tells you what all you get. Now, how it works is the first player will have this bishop card, and they're going to roll all of these die. And so they roll them out here, and you're going to bring them together like this. They're going to separate them here and here and here and here, and the first thing they're going to do is take this mule die, and they're going to move the mule token 1, 2, 3 down the track. Now I'll tell you what happens at the end when it gets to the end of the track later on. But first, they're going to pick one of these groups of die here. And I think if I was a player, I'd pick this one. That's bishop die. So if I'm pink, I would go 1, 2, 3 up the bishop pole there. Now, the next player would go, and maybe they'd pick this one. And brown would go up 2, 1, 2 on the green track. And it would keep going. Maybe blue player goes up to black. Yellow player says, I'm going up red. And then it comes back to the purple player again. I mean, pink player. And the pink player has a decision. This is a die modifier. It modifies the die plus or minus your choice. So this one says, hey, you know, minus 1 die, plus 1 die. So I can add a 4 to this, and I can take this one down to a 2. There's other ones that say just minus 1 die, minus 2 die, plus 2 die. This one says I can convert any of these die back to a 3. So if this one was, let's say this one was a 5, I could convert it back to 3. Or if it was a 1, I could convert it back to a 3. That's what that symbol means. But this is like the modifier die for all of these dice up here. Finally, you have the gold die, and of course the gold die lets you take as many gold as is shown on the emblem. Now if you have this die, that means when someone grabs it, everyone gets gold equal to the amount of players minus 1. So if in a 4-player game, each player would get 3 gold. Now after that, the first player card goes to the next player in line. They're going to take all the die, and they're going to roll it. And the game's just going to keep going on and on like that. Now what you're trying to do is you're trying to get up these tracks, and you're trying to get up all of them, because at the end of the game, if you're stuck here at the bottom, you're going to get some minus points. See this? Minus 5, minus 2, minus 1. So you don't want to be at the bottom of any of these tracks. You want to keep moving up, and when you move up, you can actually get points as well. For instance, the first person up at any of these halfway points or the top points will get to pick victory point cards. This one gives you 5 victory points. Second place would get 3 victory points. Third place would only get 1 victory point. And then a 4th place or 5th place would get nothing. So you do want to be the first rising up these tracks to grab these extra victory points. And how you determine ties, like at the end of the game when you're adding up your final score, the tie is the person who's at the leftmost corner of each track. So for instance, let's say in this track it went like this, and blue just went 1, 2, 3. Okay, first off, they would grab that 5-pointer, but they would also slide their cube all the way to the left, showing they were the first one there. So even though maybe at the end of the game it may look like this, we know that blue player is in the lead because they were the first one on that track. So just like in the regular game Biblios, that blue player would actually get the points from this die. Alright, so let's talk what happens in the market phase. Let's say the next player in line gets this, they roll all the die, and the mule moves, well, it says 1. Let's say they move 2, and they move all the way to the end there. Okay, that starts the market phase. And what has to happen here is whoever that first player is gets to divide these die however they choose. They can divide it either which way. They don't even have to show pairs here. they can just do it this way. All right, hey, they just got to make 2 pairs there, and then everyone is going to bid with the gold they have in their hand. Now the bidding is done a little bit differently than you would think. What every player is giving is cards of their color, ranging from 0 to 7. Here's the 0 and there's the 7. All right, and so what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these cards, place it face down, and then everyone's going to reveal at the same time. Now, let's say I played a 4, and let's say the blue player revealed, and they've got a 4. Well, no, let's say they got a 6, okay? Would they win? No, we just keep bidding. And so the next bid, I'm going to bid 3. And then the blue player sees it's going to be 4. Man, I really want this card. So I really want to pick one of these decks here. So I pick 6. Now I'm winning by 13. And blue player reveals that. It's the 0. Whenever you play the 0, that means that you are bowing out of the round, out of the auction. Now, it keeps going around until every player has bowed out of the auction but one. Now, when that happens, that person who was number 1 gets to pick which set of these die they want. So they'll take the set that they want, move their people according to these die, and then second player will take the second highest bid, will take the next pile of dice, and they're only going to pay, like if let's say blue was the second player, they'd only pay half. So instead of paying 10 coins, they're only going to pay 5, and they're going to get these, which is actually a really good deal because they're going to get those 5 coins back. But anyway, that's how the round goes in the market phase. Once that's over, this mule will go back to the bottom of the track, and you will stay. First player will stay with that player who initiated the market phase, since they didn't get their turn as, you know, being first in the dice draft. And so then they'll go back, roll it again, and you'll start the game all over. Now the game keeps going on until 2 conditions are met. Either all 4 people have gotten to the top of one track, or one person has gotten to the top of the bishop track. Now if you notice, these little bishop tokens are different than the victory points here. That's because bishop tokens can give you little special things in there. It can help you go up on one of the other tracks. It can give you coins. It can give you victory points. It just depends. You'll just take a token. There's only 3 in each spot. So of course the first 3 to cross these columns here will get those bonuses. Also, it's important to go up on the bishop track for in-game scoring, because in in-game scoring, what you're going to do is you're going to add up all the victory points that you've amassed through moving up each one of the tracks, and of course the person who is highest on each one of the tracks will also get to claim the die there as well for additional points. Now, the reason you want to go up on the bishop track is you can actually convert your gold coins into victory points, but it depends on how high you are on the track. So let's say this is how the game ended here, and as you see, yellow didn't even get past the first one. They're actually a -1 in victory points, and they get no victory points for any of their gold. Blue crossed the first one here, so for every 5 coins they can cash them in for 1 victory point. Brown passed the next one, so they get 4. Well, actually they met this one, so every 3 coins they get 1 victory point. And pink made it all the way to the top. For every 2 coins, they get a victory point. So after you've cashed in all your victory points and added everything together, the person with the most victory points wins. Final thoughts, what do I think about the dice version of Biblios? Actually, I got this in a deal with regular Biblios for 30 bucks. That's including shipping. What a great deal. This game alone goes for 30 something online. I was like, man, I gotta get this. And free shipping with it? It's a steal. I had to take it. So I've always wondered what Biblios was. This was just an added bonus. I'm glad I got it though, because in the great debate on which one is better, and I'm sure there's a big debate on it, I'm gonna throw my vote in for Biblios Dice. I really do like it. I don't know, something feels like you have just more options. There's more stuff going on, where Biblios is basically the same game over and over again. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun game, and I'd always play Biblios. I would always play Biblios. But if I had the choice between the two, I may have to go with Dice, because I do think it is a lot of fun. There's a lot of choices you have to make, probably a little bit more choices than there are in Biblios. Well, a lot more choices. And the gameplay is just as smooth and just as quick as its, older brother, I should say, game. So should you get it? Yeah, if you like Biblios, then yeah, you'll love the dice game. If you don't like Biblios, I think you'll still like the dice game. I think this is just a win-win. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. All right, gamers, until next time, game on.